Hi, thank you for watching Chittarupa Yoga and Fitness. I'm Laura Wilson, and I teach modifications to exercises so that every body can find a way to work out. And today I'm going to focus exclusively on that in the video, so be sure to let me know in the comments below if you like this. Today we're going to look at our pigeon pose and ways to modify it to make it more user-friendly to those of us who may have some hip concerns. So as you see, I'm in a chair. We will use a chair for some of these, and we will get on the floor. So I'll show you ways to modify if you're in a regular mat class, and ways to modify if you're in a chair class. So go ahead and get your things together. Make sure you're on a non-slick surface, on a nice sturdy chair. While you're getting that together, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. One quick little click, and you're done. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and be sure to check any links that are below. All right, so we'll start with chair modifications. So pigeon pose is a really neat pose. I'll just get on the floor for a moment. The full pigeon pose is this one. And the problem with that is all of our pigeon poses stretch out our outer hip area, and all those muscles in our gluteals and underneath our glutes. The problem is it can get very intense. It adds rotation to the knee, and maybe a bit more than most of us can handle. So for those of you who take chair yoga classes or any kind of exercise classes, let's go ahead and find ourselves sitting a little forward. We want some freedom of movement here. We also want to start with our knees hip distance, which is about 2 fists. Sitting up tall, and let's just go ahead and kind of warm up these muscles a little bit. Ideally, you would do this after a heavier workout. So I put a few cardio or standing body flows in the description below, so check those links. And let's just do a few little kick outs. Now let's stand up for a moment and do some hip circles. I do these in both the chair and the mat classes. And be sure to check Wednesday's video. We'll be looking at these again. Now let's just do a few pelvic tilts. This time we'll get our glutes involved. Normally I like to focus on the belly area, but let's really get those glutes warmed up before we start to work them. Now let's sit down here, find that position again, and just do a little squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Now these exercises tighten those muscles, which is why pigeons are such great stretches. So to begin with, in the chair, the first option is to cross at the ankle. We want to lift up our chest and bring it forward. Now we're not going to feel as much of a stretch here, but it should be a little bit. Now some ways to enhance this are to bring that foot back a little bit, but keep the knee up, and maybe we'll feel it a little more. So if we're doing it that way, we're going to take it here, bringing our heart forward, or bringing it back a little closer, but still keeping the knee up. So that helps be a little friendlier on our knees, but isn't as intense of a stretch. For those of you who are able to get the ankle or lower calf above your other knee, we want to make sure that we don't have this knee pushing down. We're not pushing down on it, and it's not lower than the other one. We want to keep it up a little higher, even if we have to hold it, and not everybody will. Again, we want to bring our heart forward. Now we really start to feel that stretch, but we can take this deeper. And the thing I like about doing this in the chair is you've got that leverage to change this up any amount that works for you. We also want to make sure in any of our pigeon poses where our leg is in this configuration that we let our foot relax, or we might take Barbie doll foot, like we're in a high heel. If you feel like you have to do anything besides just let it relax. So let's look at the other one. And it could be that you can do this on one side and you have to do it the other way on the other side. Totally normal. We tend to be right-footed or left-footed or legged. And let's keep this knee up, bringing our heart forward again, leveraging at our own comfort level. Barbie doll foot if we want it. We don't want to flex the foot because that puts a strain on our knee. It's a relaxed foot or a Barbie doll foot. And pointing our toes puts a strain on our foot. So let's come back up out of that. So those are your chair options if you're ever doing this in a chair. For those of you who do get on the floor, I'm gonna move my chair out of the way. So as I said in that first one, the full pose, if you do want to go full, just a quick little, we can bring the foot in, keep it at that Barbie doll foot, or try to take it a little further out. But the further in it is, we're going to feel the knee issues. So since we're looking at modifying today, I'm going to flip over this way. So our first modification is to just take that figure 4 like this. Now when we're on the floor, if we can't get our foot here in the chair because we're not lifting it up as high, we might be able to get it here. And then when we lean forward, we start to feel that hip stretch. And again, you've got that leverage to go further, but another dynamic going on is a stretch to the back of this leg. And if this is accessible and you want more sensation, then you can always bend this leg. What we want to do again is keep this knee in close, this foot relaxed, or pointed at the ball, and we can bring this in. This knee in closer than the foot. We don't ever want it out like that because again, that's going to hurt our knee and it's actually going to hurt our hip. So we modify it here, and then we can take it to the other side. We're going to stay balanced today. So if you want more sensation, whoops, and again, you'll notice how it feels if you let it do this and if you pull it here. If you notice my hips go out of alignment here, now my hips are lined up with each other. So just some things to be mindful of when you take a class. Most teachers are not going to cue this quite this way, and pigeon pose can really hurt if you do it wrong. So as a little bonus, I'll show full pigeon pose, and I forgot my ball, but that's okay. I'll show you how to modify it without equipment. Just for those of you who want to try it, we'll bring the one foot forward, leg across. So we're going to start to lower down by walking this other foot back. Now it could be that we stop right here. Again, we want to keep our hips square. So if we have an inclination to roll over onto this buttock, we want to pull it forward. And you might notice that when I get here. Right now my hips are even, now they're not. Even, and that's what we want. See how close this foot is in, relaxed. And it could be that we just hold ourselves here. Not everybody's going to be able to get their hip on the floor. And that's just something that we work towards. That's why we practice. Let's go ahead and come out of here. So those are some ways you can modify. Please watch this video over and over again until you get it. And that way the next time you go to a class and you're doing one of these pigeon poses and it hurts, because it can, you've got the tools you need to be able to modify it. And I've noticed when I take other people's classes and I start doing a modified version of a pose, they add that cue into the class. So let me know if you try this in someone else's class and they add a cue for the way you're doing it. Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious to see if it works for someone else as well. Be sure again to check those links below, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time.